So you are here today because you suspect that your ex is an avoidant attachment style. They may be ignoring your calls, not even looking at your messages, and you may feel like they've just disappeared off the face of the planet and feeling like, did the relationship actually mean anything to them? Why they're ignoring you? Why they've created this massive distance? And if you are on the receiving end of this behavior, please don't take it personal, because you're probably one of a long line of people that they've done this to. But the purpose of this video is to help you get inside the head of your avoidant ex, why they do what they do, how it all started, why they are like this. And when you understand their pattern, you'll be able to navigate through this with your heart intact. But also, I'll give you tips and tricks on how to get closer to your avoidant ex without them running off and disappearing for good. Stay tuned. I want to give you the reasons why an avoidant acts so cold and distant in a relationship, and also why they completely disappear when the relationship is over. But before I get to that, I want to just level with you and see if your ex was really avoidant. Now, I'm going to give you three main examples on how to tell that your ex was avoidant. So the avoidant attachment style has a coping mechanism that stops them getting too close in a relationship, and it's called a deactivating strategy. Now, deactivating strategy number one, I want you to ask yourself, did your ex compare you with this wonderful ex-partner of theirs? Did they have this imaginary ex that nobody compared to? Maybe there was oh, she used to be, or he used to be so wonderful, and they used to do this and they used to do that, and no. This is a deactivating strategy, because while they have that ex in the back of their mind, they're not getting close to you. They're not falling in love with you. They believe that this person is actually for them. But if they got with that person, the same thing that's happening to you will happen to that person too. But it's just a deactivating strategy that they use to stop themselves getting too close. Now, I'm going to give you an example. Remember, I used to be an avoidant attachment style. I had this ex who I found madly in love with when I was on holiday in Thailand. And we had about a 3-month long distance relationship. And then 3 months later, he meets this girl and basically leaves me for this girl. And I was mad about this guy. I'd been single for a while, and I thought, I finally met somebody that I really like, that I connect with. And then he leaves me for this girl. Now, for years, I kept him in my mind, this imaginary ex that nobody compared to. And then by chance, only last year, I found that this guy was actually a really awful boyfriend to this new girl. And I found this out because we become friends after they split up. And she used to tell me all the stuff that he used to do. And I thought about it. I was like, I would have never known or even believed that he was like this. So my imaginary ex became a reality. And the reality was nothing like the fantasy. And for me, it was a great release, because I had let go of the last piece of my avoidant attachment style. So it just goes to show that fantasy and imagination is so strong, but it's nothing like reality. So now, deactivating strategy number 2 is, did they pick at little things that you used to say and do? Now, I'm not talking about you leaving all your makeup everywhere or being really messy in the house. You know, most people would, if they were cleaning fanatics or they love tidiness, they would mention would you mind just picking your stuff up, right? I'm talking about little things. Maybe they didn't like the way you laughed, Or maybe they didn't like the way you drank your tea or cut your food. You know, little silly little things that most people would not pick up on. Now, the reason that they do this is because it stops them going fully into a relationship and having those deep feelings with somebody, accepting someone for who they are. So they look for little things that's going to put them off the relationship. So this is, unbelievable. And then deactivation strategy number 3 is, did they change their mood at a flip of a switch? So were they really loving and amorous and kind, and then as soon as it got too intimate, or they felt like there was being asked too many questions about their inner workings, did they just shut down, throw themselves into work, or disappear for days, or just completely go cold on you? So, you know, like you was living with 2 people, which made you feel rejected and stunned, what have I said, what have I done, and asking yourself all these kinds of questions. So that's deactivating strategy number 3. So if you've answered yes to even one of those statements, then chances are your ex is an avoidant attachment style. So why do avoidants want to avoid relationships? It wasn't always like this. When we're children, just like any other child, we want love, we want connection, we want hugs. But something happens to the child along the way towards adulthood that makes them feel like it's not safe to get close. And also they find themselves becoming very self-sufficient because of the behaviours of the caregivers. So picture this. You have this really loving child that just wants to hug their parent and feel safe around them. But somehow, or for some reason, that child doesn't feel safe. So imagine a child has a really angry parent, and that angry parent can't fulfill the need of the child's hugs, the need for the child's feelings of connection. Maybe they felt rejected by their parent, and maybe every time they got close to their parent, they would feel rejected. So this can affect everyone differently, but for an avoidant, the way they feel safe is by avoiding closeness and connection altogether. The reason they become so self-sufficient is because they've had to do this as a child. It's learned behaviour. We live what we learn. When we're children, we form beliefs about ourselves, about the world, about relationships, and these beliefs are usually solidified around the age of 14. So when the child goes into adulthood without inner work or even knowing that they're like this, they find themselves in relationships that are very short and very distant, because this is how they've become to feel the feelings of safety, which is our innate want as a human being, is to feel safe. So as you can see, it's not your fault if an avoidant attachment style ex can't get close to you. It has nothing to do with you at all. They need to work on their beliefs that it's safe to feel loved, that it's safe to connect. Also, the reason why an avoidant believes that their partner's going to take their freedom is because they probably watched their dad be very controlling with their mother, or vice versa. So they've internalized the belief that relationships are control, or it's not safe to be in a relationship, or relationships go wrong, or relationships are not happy, whatever it is for that child. And they grow up believing and seeing and perceiving the world based on their childhood experiences. So the steps that you can take today is get yourself a journal if you haven't got one already. And every time you want to speak to them about what's going on in your mind, and obviously they're not there to actually communicate it to your diary. And keep your diary with you at all times, and just keep writing in the diary to get those thoughts and feelings out on paper. And remember, don't text them. Don't keep texting them. Keep looking at their social media. You know, don't just really. If I know it's hard, but hold yourself back and focus on your life. Because the more you do that, it's kind of like sometimes you like send out a subliminal message. Have you ever done that? As soon as you stop wanting something to happen, it's actually happened. But it's like that needing, the wanting, the craving for it to come into fruition is actually pushing what you want further away. So today, focus on yourself, get busy, go to the gym, do some yoga, do some meditation, journal, you know, create a video diary of your breakup. It's so therapeutic because when that person is not there for you to speak to, you need to get these words and phrases and thoughts out, either on paper or on a video diary or even on just a recording on your phone. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel where I'm going to be creating more and more videos just like this one, or leave me a comment in the comment box and let me know if you have any questions. And just remember, you've got this.